Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barrenfield. I'm Brandon Barrenfield. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 75 of Hockey on the Spot. Lots of games last night, 12 games, and lots of updates to go over. And we'll also have this day in hockey history from October 16th. So let's not waste any time. This could be a very long video. So let's just go. I'll try to go as fast as I can. We'll once again start with updates from the New York Rangers as they have signed forward Aaron Asham and goaltender Martin Biron to the Hartford Wolfpack. Both of them cleared waivers yesterday, and in exchange they have recalled forward JT Miller and goaltender Cam Talbot from the Hartford Wolfpack, both of whom have been tremendous down in Hartford, and both of them deserve the call-up. Chris Kreider could have been another option instead of JT Miller, but Miller has clearly been the better player. Pittsburgh Penguins have placed forward James Neal on injured reserve. It has been reported that Neal suffered an upper body injury while playing wiffle ball in an on-ice event before the start of the season. He is a key part of the Pittsburgh Penguins' offensive core, so hopefully he can make a quick and safe and healthy return. Philadelphia Flyers general manager Paul Holmgren has announced that defenseman Chris Pronger will never play professional hockey again. Pronger has not played a game since November 19th of 2011 and has been suffering issues with his right eye since being hit in the face by former Toronto Maple Leafs forward, now of the Washington Capitals, Mikhail Grabovski, on October 24th of 2011. Big loss for the National Hockey League and the Philadelphia Flyers. Definitely a Hall of Fame defenseman. A pure example of a power play quarterback. Big shot from the point, big body, guy who loved to hit, can play an excellent two-way game, will defend his teammates, and was the prototypical bad guy on defense. So it's a big loss for the league, and he will be missed. The Edmonton Oilers have recalled forward Ryan Jones from the American Hockey League's Oklahoma City Barons, and last night Nail Yakupov would play after being a healthy scratch for the last two games. The Edmonton also reassigned defenseman Philip Larson to OKC, while forward Jesse Joensuu did not play last night as he returned to Edmonton to nurse a back injury. It was very interesting to see how Nail Yakupov would handle his first game back after being scratched for two games. We'll talk more about that later. The Detroit Red Wings have recalled goaltender Peter Mrazek from the Grand Rapids Griffins. The San Jose Sharks have placed forward Adam Burish on IR and have recalled veteran prospect Bracken Cairns from the Worcester Sharks of the American Hockey League. So that'll be interesting. And if you're a Detroit Red Wings fan, you'll be happy to know that your first round 20th overall pick from this past year's draft, Anthony Mantha of the Val-d'Or Forays, has been tearing it up in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League with 28 points, including 16 goals in just 9 games. Unbelievable. This kid is going to be a superstar when he comes up to the National Hockey League. And honestly, with the way he's playing, it could be as soon as next year. Dallas Stars forward Valeri Nichushkin was a healthy scratch last night against the Colorado Avalanche. So far this year, Nichushkin has yet to record a point in his first 4 games and is a -1 with only 1 shot on goal. Dallas Stars forward Lane McDermott would take his spot. Florida Panthers forward Nick Bjugstad made his season debut last night versus the Nashville Predators. Former Chicago Blackhawks defenseman Steve Montador left his KHL club, Medveščak Zagreb, with lingering concussion effects. Montador may be forced to retire due to the concussion he suffered while playing with the Hawks in March of 2012. I honestly really liked Steve Montador as a player. I liked his game. He may not have been a great defenseman, but I thought he had a lot of grit to his game. Was a guy who was good, was solid, two ways. Obviously played in the American Hockey League all of last year for the Rockford Ice Hogs. So this is a big loss, I think, just in my personal perspective, because I did like him. The NHL has suspended Buffalo Sabres forward Patrick Kaleta for 10 games for his hit on Columbus Blue Jackets defenseman Jack Johnson. Kaleta has already served 2 games while waiting for his disciplinary hearing. So, if he not including last night's game against the New York Islanders. He would now have to serve 7 more games. Real dirty player in the National Hockey League, real deserving of the suspension, and now it'll make you think how much he's going to be watched when he comes back. We'll see how that works out. So we will see how that works out. FS Detroit is reporting that Detroit Red Wings have assigned forward Darren Helm to the American Hockey League's Grand Rapids Griffins on a conditioning stint and could make his return to the NHL next Saturday against the New York Rangers. They need him in their lineup. He is one of their better depth players, really fast skater. May not be that much of a scorer, but he has been itching to get back into action after getting hurt so many times. So we'll see how that plays out. Washington Capitals forward Jason Chimera has been fined $4,487.18 for boarding Edmonton Oilers defenseman Justin Schultz on Monday night. That is absolutely what should happen. That is absolutely what should happen. So well deserving of that. For dirty stuff like that. The Calgary Flames will release their new alternate jerseys on October 27th. Their new alternate jerseys are pretty decent, I guess. Not the best jerseys I've ever seen, but they're alright. Nothing special. And last but certainly not least, Bob McKenzie reports that Edmonton Oilers GM Craig McTavish is working the phones to determine the market for goaltenders and are looking at every possibility. This includes Buffalo Sabres Ryan Miller, St. Louis Blues Brian Elliott, Washington Capitals Michael Neuvirth, and beyond. It's also believed that if the cost proves to be too much, McTavish could take a chance on unrestricted free agents Jose Theodore and Ilya Bryzgalov. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Ilya Bryzgalov would make the most sense. They really do need a goaltender. It's like I've been saying all along. Devin Dubnyk is not that good of a goaltender. He has been a huge disappointment since being drafted. And Jason LaBarra, obviously, he is very old now. And, he's a good backup. But that's all he is, a backup. They basically have 2 backup goaltenders right now. So, if they do sign Bryzgalov or Theodore or trade for a goaltender, one of those 2 guys will be the odd guy out. We'll see how it all plays out in the very end. And that is it for the updates. For today. We'll have a couple of injury updates as we go over the games. So be sure to listen closely. So now let us go over the games. 12 games in the league last night, and this is going to be a really long video. So let's do it. We get started with the Minnesota Wild and the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. Maple Leafs coming up big with a 4-1 victory, including a 2-goal performance from forward Mason Raymond. But that didn't come right away. It all started with a power play goal by Tyler Bozak, assisted by David Boland and Cody Franson. Then Trevor Smith would get his first goal of the season and his first goal in a Toronto Maple Leafs uniform, assisted by Morgan Riley and Cody Franson. Then Mason Raymond would get the first of his 2 goals on the power play, assisted by Nazem Kadri and Morgan Riley. And then his second goal would come via an empty netter, assisted by Phil Kessel. Mason Raymond has just been excellent since coming over. James Reimer would not only get the starting goal, but was probably the best player in the whole game. 36 saves on 37 shots, a .973 save percentage. Unbelievable indeed. Just absolutely tremendous work ethic. For him, well deserving of the first star. For the Minnesota Wild, their only goal coming on the power play Jason Pominville scores his second in as many games, assisted by Mikko Koivu and Zach Parise. Zach Parise's been a goal scorer this year. That's his first assist of the season. For the Minnesota Wild, they got the split in goal, as the team in general only faced 13 shots. Darcy Kemper would get his first star of the year, and he did not use it to his advantage very well. He only faced 7 shots and only made 4 saves. A .571 save percentage. That is the worst save percentage in a game so far this season. Quickly pulled for Josh Harding, who did not let up a goal, but he only faced 6 shots. So, for him personally, that's a 6-save shutout, but just a dismal night for the Minnesota Wild, as they felt that they played a great game. They totally dominated the game, too. They totally outshot the Leafs. They beat them to every play, but it was the goaltending for the Wild that was the problem last night. Darcy Kemper was not good, and the few shots that the Leafs got off, they converted. So, just not a great game, and actually, of the few shots they got, 5 of them came from forward Mason Raymond. So, surprising he wasn't a star of the game. James Van Riemsdyk did not play in the game. I don't believe he was a healthy scratch, but I don't know why he didn't play either. So, we'll get more info on that. But either way, congratulations to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Next, we have the Buffalo Sabres and the New York Islanders on Long Island. The Buffalo Sabres finally get themselves a win this season by a final score of 4-3 in a shootout. They're definitely going to be reminiscing on that one for a while. They finally get the victory. After trailing the game 3 times, they did not lead once in the game. But they finally get a win. After the Islanders took a 1-0 lead, Tyler Ennis would get his first goal of the season, assisted by Drew Stafford and Christian Ehrhoff. For both of them, their first assists of the season. Then, after the Islanders took a 2-1 lead, Thomas Vanek would get his third of the year on the power play, assisted by Cody Hodgson and Christian Ehrhoff. And then, after the Islanders took a 3-2 lead with 2 minutes and 1 second remaining, Mike Foligno would get his first of the year to tie the game, assisted by Tyler Myers. That would be his first assist of the year. For the New York Islanders, they took the lead 3 times on goals by Franz Nielsen, assisted by Josh Bailey, and Pierre-Marc Bouchard. For Pierre-Marc Bouchard, that is his first point in a New York Islanders sweater. Congratulations to him. Then Matt Martin would get his first of the year, assisted by Casey Cizikas and Eric Bolton. For Matt Martin, his first goal of the season, and for the other 2 guys, their first points of the season, Casey Cizikas and Eric Bolton. And actually, for Eric Bolton, that's actually not only his first point in a New York Islanders sweater, but his first point since the 2010-2011 season as a member of the Atlanta Thrashers. He did not have a point as a New Jersey Devil, and he did not have a point in 15 games last season with the New York Islanders. So, for Eric Bolton on a personal level, that is his first point. That is his first point since April 7th, 2011, against the New York Rangers, when he scored a goal. So that's big news, for big relief off the shoulders of Eric Bolton, a 4th-line player. But anyway, going back to the goals, then after that, the Islanders would take a 3-2 lead on a power play goal by Matt Moulson, assisted by John Tavares and Lubomir Visnovsky. In the shootout, there were 3 scores in the shootout, 2 for the Sabres, 1 for the Islanders. For the Sabres, both shooters they used would score, Thomas Vanek and Tyler Ennis. For the New York Islanders, they used 3 shooters. Matt Moulson would be their first shooter. He would score. However, their other 2 shooters, Franz Nielsen, a.k.a. the best player of all time in a shootout, and John Tavares would both miss on their opportunities. So a 4-3 win in a shootout by the Buffalo Sabres, their first victory of the year. Ryan Miller was absolutely spectacular, making 41 saves on 44 shots, a .932 save percentage. The New York Islanders outshot the Sabres last night. However, the Sabres did get some decent shots as well. Evgeny Nabokov started for the New York Islanders, and he was good too. 31 saves on 34 shots, a .912 save percentage, compared to Ryan Miller's .932 save percentage. So, again, the Buffalo Sabres, congratulations on your first victory of the season. Now, only the New Jersey Devils are without a victory this season. The Buffalo Sabres win that race for the first win of the season. Now the New Jersey Devils, they got to be looking at this game in particular right now and thinking to themselves, what's going on? So we'll see how they can transition very soon. Next we have the Vancouver Canucks and the Philadelphia Flyers. In Philadelphia, the Flyers just can't seem to get things going right for themselves this season. It is the Vancouver Canucks who come out on top by a final score of 3-2. The Flyers did have the lead in the game twice, but after that, Vancouver dominated in the third period. The Flyers again, after the Flyers scored first at 12:26, literally 10 seconds later, Ryan Kesler would score the first of 2 goals he would have in the game, assisted by Jannik Hansen, his first assist of the year, and Chris Tanev. Then after that, Chris Higgins would get his first of the season to tie the game at 2, assisted by Henrik Sedin and Jason Garrison. And then Ryan Kesler would get his second of the game. That would be the game-winning goal, assisted by Chris Higgins and Henrik Sedin. And by the way, congratulations for Henrik Sedin. For him, that was his 800th and 801st career NHL points. So absolutely brilliant. Roberto Luongo would get the starting goal, and he was solid. 20 saves and 22 shots, a .909 save percentage. So congratulations for him. For the Philadelphia Flyers, Ty McGinn would score both goals for the Philadelphia Flyers. The first one assisted by Nicholas Grossman and Eric Gustafsson, their first points of the year. And the second one would be assisted by Claude Giroux and Jakub Voracek. For Claude Giroux, by the way, he would use lavender tape in last night's game to represent the fight against cancer. Steve Mason would get the starting goal, making 22 saves on 25 shots, an .880 save percentage. So congrats to the Vancouver Canucks. And by the way, one update I forgot to mention from the Buffalo Islanders game. Forward Zemgus Girgensons would take a shot from teammate Tyler Myers and would not return to the game. So hopefully Zemgus Girgensons makes a healthy recovery, because I think he's going to be a good player in the future for them. Next, we have the Edmonton Oilers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, Ryan Jones would be called up to play in the game with Jesse Joensuu out, and Nail Yakupov would play in the game after being scratched for 2 straight games. How would he react to this? He would not, he did not even have a point in the game, was a -1, and only 1 shot on goal, and 1 blocked shot. So, not a good night for him at all. Nor was it for Ryan Jones, who did not have anything except 2 hits. But the Edmonton Oilers and the Pittsburgh Penguins, it would be the Pens coming out on top by a final score of 3-2. The Pittsburgh Penguins had their lead cut away twice, but ended up getting the win anyway. Sidney Crosby would assist on all 3 goals in the game and would be the game's #1 star. He now has sole possession of the league lead in scoring with 12 points. But the Pittsburgh goals, everyone who scored for both teams in this game would score their second goals of the season. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, their first goal coming from Pascal Dupuis, assisted by, of course, Sidney Crosby and Chris Kunitz. Then Chris Kunitz would get a goal assisted by, of course, Sidney Crosby and Pascal Dupuis. And then the game-winning goal would be scored by Evgeny Malkin on the power play, assisted by Paul Martin and, of course, Sidney Crosby. Marc-Andre Fleury remains undefeated. 20 saves on 22 shots, a .909 save percentage. So Marc-Andre Fleury just playing absolutely out of his head right now. For the Edmonton Oilers, their goals coming from Ales Hemsky, assisted by David Perron and Jeff Petrie, and then Jordan Eberle, assisted by Taylor Hall and Marco Arcobello. Jason LaBarbera would get the start in net as the Oilers try to figure out their goaltending situation. 25 saves and 28 shots, and .893 save percentage. So congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Next, we have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina. The Hawks coming out on top with a 3-2 victory in a shootout. They had a 2-0 lead, but it slipped away. But the Hurricanes would make a comeback in the game. And yes, they would have Tuomo Ruutu for this game, the former Chicago Blackhawk, his second game of the year. But anyway, for the Chicago Blackhawks, their goals coming from Patrick Sharp, his first of the year, assisted by Michael Handzus. Then Marian Hossa would get up on the board, assisted by Brandon Saad and Andrew Shaw. But then the Carolina Hurricanes made a swift comeback on goals by Alexander Semin, his second of the year, assisted by Eric Stahl, and Tuomo Ruutu, his first point of the season. It's really great to see him back. I really hope he doesn't get hurt again because I do like him. And then, of all people, Ron Hainsey not only gets his first goal in a Carolina Hurricane sweater unassisted, but he also gets his first goal since being a member of the Atlanta Thrashers in the 2010-2011 season. His last goal coming on March 12th, 2011. It was the game-winning goal against the Philadelphia Flyers. So for Ron Hainsey, who did not score one goal when they were the Winnipeg Jets, gets his first of the season with the Carolina Hurricanes. They signed him as an emergency signing to replace Yoni Pitkinen, who they lost for the remainder of the season. So hope Yoni Pitkinen makes a healthy return for next year. In the shootout, Patrick Sharp would score the only shootout goal for either team. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews would also try for the Chicago Blackhawks. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, they got tries from Nathan Gerbe, Alexander Semin, and Jeff Skinner. None would convert. For the Chicago Blackhawks, Corey Crawford got the start in goal, making 32 saves and 34 shots, a .941 save percentage. He was brilliant and the game's #1 star. Cam Ward would get the start in goal, still seeking his first win of the year, cannot get it. 34 saves on 36 shots, a .944 save percentage. He was still really good, though, and he was the game's second star. Marian Hossa was the third star, but it was a game all about the goaltending. But if one had to come out on top, it would be the Blackhawks. So congratulations to the defending Stanley Cup champions. Next, we have the Los Angeles Kings and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Humongous win for the Tampa Bay Lightning against the Kings by a final score of 5-1. And some very interesting times in LA. Goaltender Jonathan Quick was pulled for Ben Scrivens in the second period of last night's game following a shutout in the last game. And of course he would get pulled because he was not good at all. He was not that great. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, they scored just 19 seconds in on a goal by Ryan Malone, assisted by Sammy Salo and Martin St. Louis. Then Teddy Purcell would get up on the board, assisted by Andre Pallett and Matt Carl. Then after that, in the second period, Martin St. Louis would get a goal, assisted by Steven Stamkos and Andre Suster. And for Andre Suster, that's his first career NHL point. Congratulations to him. That is when Jonathan Quick would get pulled. And Ben Scrivens really did not help the cause, as Martin St. Louis would get his second of the game, assisted by Ryan Malone and Steven Stamkos. And last but not least, Andre Pallett would get his second of the year, assisted by Teddy Purcell and Tyler Johnson. A 3-point night for Marty St. Louis. Ben Bishop would get the starting goal and remains undefeated. 30 saves and 31 shots, a .968 save percentage. He was brilliant. Just brilliant. For the Los Angeles Kings, their only goal coming from Slava Voinov, his first of the year, assisted by Matt Fratton and Jarrett Stoll. Again, Jonathan Quick again got the starting goal and was terrible. 14 saves on 17 shots, an .824 save percentage. Ben Scrivens comes in and doesn't help the cause. Only 6 saves on just 8 shots, a .750 save percentage. So, big kudos and congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Next, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Detroit Red Wings, two former Western Conference division rivals, now both in the Eastern Conference, in different divisions, though. But it would be the Detroit Red Wings coming out on top in the first of 3 meetings by a final score of 2-1. Starting with a goal by Daniel Alfredsson at long last, that long-awaited first goal as a member of the Detroit Red Wings. That mission is finally completed. Daniel Alfredsson got his first goal in a Detroit Red Wings sweater at long last, assisted by Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg. And then Todd Bertuzzi would get his second of the year on the power play, assisted by Henrik Zetterberg and Nicholas Kronwall. That would turn out to be the game winner. Sergei Bobrovsky was brilliant in goal despite the loss. 30 saves and 32 shots, a .938 save percentage. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, they did tie the game at 1 on a power play goal by Cam Atkinson unassisted. Jonas Gustafsson would get the start in goal, and would get the start in goal with Jimmy Howard out. Yes, that's right. Jimmy Howard is out for now, which is why Peter Mrazek was called up. But Gustafsson's second straight start, brilliant. 36 saves and 37 shots, a .973 save percentage. A night all about the goaltending. And it was Gustafsson who would come out on top. Congratulations to the Detroit Red Wings. Next, we have what was considered to be the game of the night last night. The NBC Sports Network broadcast, the San Jose Sharks and the St. Louis Blues in St. Louis. Both teams undefeated going into last night's game. One of them had to lose, and unfortunately for the home team, it was them. The San Jose Sharks coming up huge with a humongous 6-2 victory in what was considerably a really dirty game. The San Jose Sharks started off with a 5-0 lead. Yaroslav Halak would be the one getting the start in goal. But was instantly pulled for Brian Elliott after letting up 4 goals. San Jose Shark goals, their first 2 goals coming on the power play. First one by Logan Couture, assisted by Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton. And then Joe Pavelski would get his first of the year, assisted by Jason Demers and Patrick Marleau. So, then after that, Tommy Wingles would get up on the board, assisted by James Shepard and Andrew Desjardins. Then Scott Hannon would get his first goal in his second stint as a member of the San Jose Sharks. So very happy to have that goal. And his first regular season point in his second stint as a San Jose Shark. He had 4 assists in the playoffs last year, assisted by Joe Thornton and Brent Burns. And then Joe Thornton would finally get his first goal of the season, assisted by Thomas Hertl. And then after the Blues converted with 2 goals, Patrick Marleau would score a power play goal, assisted by Logan Couture and Joe Thornton. Antti Niemi is the goaltender who remains undefeated. 25 saves and 27 shots, a .926 save percentage. The San Jose Sharks absolutely tearing it up right now. But remember, last season they went through the same thing. They went undefeated through their first 8 games, and then they struggled through the midway point of the season. For them, they're going to hope that doesn't happen again. Joe Thornton, for him, a 4-point night, a goal and 3 assists, and well-deserving of the first star. Patrick Marleau, a goal and 2 assists and 6 shots on goal. well deserving of the second star. So a big night for the two forwards of the San Jose Sharks. Patrick Marleau had more shots on goal than anybody in the hockey game. For the St. Louis Blues, their 2 goals coming from Vladimir Tarasenko, assisted by Jaden Schwartz and Patrick Berglund. Then Roman Polak would get his first of the year, assisted by Derek Roy and Vladimir Sobotka. Again, Yaroslav Halak got the start in goal, but would be the one getting credit for the loss because he was on for the game-winning goal. 22 saves on 26 shots and .846 save percentage. Not good numbers at all. Brian Elliott would then come in, and for Brian Elliott, this was his first action of the season, surprisingly enough. 11 saves on 13 shots and .846 save percentage. He came in for the third period. And for this game, but the real thing I want to talk about for this game is how dirty the game was overall. We have 2 players in the game who could be facing suspensions, but more likely, the one most likely to face a suspension is forward Maxime Lapierre, who got 20 minutes in penalties and was kicked out of the game for a hit on Dan Boyle. For a hit on defenseman Dan Boyle. Boyle was knocked out unconscious and was stretchered off. Hopefully I'll have an update for his status as soon as we know anything, but prayers for the Boyle family, indeed. So Maxime Lapierre had more penalty minutes than anybody in the game. 20 minutes in penalties for that hit. Brent Burns only had 4 minutes in penalties. However, he gave forward Brendan Morrow a nasty hit from behind. So that is something else that could be looked at. It's obviously more likely that Lapierre would get suspended than Burns, but we'll see what happens. But there were some other guys with lots of penalties in the game. Andrew Desjardins would get the most penalty minutes for the San Jose Sharks, 17 minutes in penalties. And then forwards Matthew Pelech and Ryan Reeves would have 15 minutes in penalties. David Backes would have 6 minutes in penalties. So he took three penalties in the game, including a double minor. So we'll see how everything plays out. Hopefully everything turns out okay. But it is the San Jose Sharks that remain undefeated. The St. Louis Blues suffer their first loss of the year. Congratulations to the San Jose Sharks. Next, we have the Florida Panthers and the Nashville Predators in Nashville. Big win for the Nashville Predators. Their best offensive night so far this season. Things look like they're finally starting to come together a little bit for the Nashville Predators, which is excellent news for them. And again, Nick Bjugstad would make his season debut for the Florida Panthers. But let's now go over the scoring summary, starting with Shea Weber finally getting his first goal of the season, assisted by Mike Fisher and Colin Wilson. Then, after Florida tied up the game, Mike Fisher would get his second of the year, assisted by Craig Smith and Seth Jones. Then, after Florida tied up the game at 2, Craig Smith would get his first goal of the year, assisted by Gabriel Bork, his first assist of the year, and Shea Weber. And then the game-winning goal would come on the power play by Patrick Hornquist, assisted by David Legwand and Philip Forsberg. And for Philip Forsberg, that's his first NHL assist. Pekka Rinne would get the start and goal, making 22 saves and 25 shots and .880 save percentage. He was very good. For the Florida Panthers, their goals coming from Jonathan Huberdeau, assisted by Scott Gomez and Mike Weaver. For Mike Weaver, his first point of the year. Then Marcel Gottsch would get up on the board, assisted by Jesse Winchester and Sean Matthias. And for Jesse Winchester, that's his first point. That's his first point in a Florida Panthers sweater. Remember, he did not play last year for any team. He was playing in Finland all of last year. So, congratulations to Jesse Winchester. Yep, and again, Sean Matthias got the other assist. That was Marcel Gottsch getting the goal. And then, Matt Gilroy would get his first goal in a Florida Panthers sweater, assisted by Thomas Fleischman and Brad Boyes. So congrats to Matt Gilroy on his first goal in a Florida Panthers sweater. Jacob Markstrom would get the start in goal and would make 26 saves on 30 shots and 867 save percentage. So not a night particularly about the goaltending, but still a night for the Nashville Predators, a still significant enough night for them to get the win. Congratulations to the Nashville Predators. Next, we have the Montreal Canadiens and the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. A 3-0 victory for the Montreal Canadiens. A shutout victory for them. Good job for them. They're obviously really happy about that. Really happy about that. And for the Montreal Canadiens, their goals coming from Brandon Pruss, assisted by Daniel Briere and Francis Bouillon. Then PK Subban would get up on the board, assisted by David Desharnais and Josh Georges, their first assists of the year. And then, in the third period, Daniel Briere would score a power play empty net goal unassisted. For Danny Briere, that is his first goal in a Montreal Canadiens sweater. He's been long awaiting that one. Carey Price was the real star of the game with a 36-save shutout. Excellent work for him. Excellent work for him. For Andrei Pavlik, he made 22 saves and 24 shots and 917 save percentage. So not bad numbers, but still not numbers you'd really want to have in a game, especially if you don't get the win. Evander Kane had 6 minutes in penalties, and Eric Tangradi had 5. Ryan White had 5 as well. So as they got into a fight. But not a good game for Evander Kane, a game he'd like to take back, game he himself would like to take back. But again, big congratulations to the Montreal Canadiens and Carey Price. Next, we have the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. The game that probably proved to be the toughest challenge for the Colorado Avalanche so far. And it looked good for the Dallas Stars as they took a 1-0 lead in the game. But, once again, it's the Colorado Avalanche coming out on top. And like the San Jose Sharks, they remain undefeated, going 6-0-0. Unbelievable. For the Colorado Avalanche, after surrendering the 1-0 lead, their goals coming from Matt Duchene, unassisted. Matt Duchene had 2 goals in the game. But after his first goal, Jan Hejda would get his first of the year, just 7 seconds remaining in the first period, assisted by Nathan MacKinnon and P.A. Parenteau. And then Matt Duchene's second goal of the game would be the game winner, assisted by P.A. Parenteau and Eric Johnson, his first assist of the year. So absolutely brilliant work by the Colorado Avalanche. And for Matt Duchene, congratulations to him getting his 200th NHL point. That is big news. That is just great news for the Colorado Avalanche. Semyon Varlamov got the starting goal and was brilliant once again. 39 saves on 41 shots, a 951 save percentage. Just absolutely brilliant for him. So congratulations to him. For the Dallas Stars, their goals coming from Rich Peverley, assisted by Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn. For Rich Peverley, that's his first goal in a Dallas Stars uniform. He was involved in that big trade with the Boston Bruins, along with Tyler Seguin. And then, after the Avs took a 2-1 lead, Cody Eakin would get his first of the year on the power play to tie up the game, assisted by Ryan Whitney and Eric Cole, his first assist of the year. Dan Ellis would get the start in goal and making 23 saves and 26 shots and 885 save percentage. So not a spectacular night for him, but it's an okay one. But again, congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche on remaining undefeated. And last but not least, we have the Ottawa Senators and the Phoenix Coyotes in Phoenix. The Ottawa Senators coming up big, 4-3 in overtime. So congratulations to them. After the Phoenix Coyotes took a 2-0 lead, it was all Ottawa, or really should I say, it was all Jason Spezza, as Jason Spezza would score a natural hat trick. He went on to score a natural hat trick. Jason Spezza His first goal was assisted by Patrick Wierkosh and Milan Michalek. His second goal assisted by Colin Greening. And then his hat-trick goal would come on the power play, assisted by Erik Karlsson and Milan Michalek. And then in overtime, it would be Corey Conacher who would get the overtime winner, assisted by Mark Mathot, his first assist of the year, and Colin Greening. Craig Anderson would get the starting goal and was solid. 34 saves and 37 shots, a .919 save percentage. For the Phoenix Coyotes, their goals coming from Rob Klinkhammer, the former Ottawa Senator, assisted by another former Ottawa Senator, Antoine Vermette. Then Radim Vrbata would get up on the board, assisted by Michael Bodker and Martin Hansel. And then after the Sens took a 3-2 lead, Mike Ribeiro would score his first of the year on the power play, assisted by Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Antoine Vermette. And for Mike Ribeiro, that's his first goal in a Phoenix Coyotes sweater. Mike Smith would get the starting goal, making 28 saves and 32 shots, an .875 percentage. Big congratulations to the Ottawa Senators, and congrats to Jason Spezza on his hat trick and 5 shots on goal. Well deserving of the first star. And that is it for all the games last night, and now we have only one thing left to do. This day in hockey history from October 16th. In 1974, that was the day, October 16th, 1974, that was the day Canadian forward Paul Kariya was born. Paul Kariya is a gold medal winner from the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City and a gold medal winner from the 1994 World Championships in Italy. Former 4th overall draft pick of the Anaheim Ducks, or Mighty Ducks at the time, and a franchise player, or one of their franchise players for many years. He also spent his career with the Colorado Avalanche, the Nashville Predators, and then ended his career with the St. Louis Blues. He was forced to retire due to post-concussion syndromes. And I also found another update, just got this one. After being the first star of last night's game, Tampa Bay Lightning captain Martin St. Louis is day-to-day. He was not on the ice for practice Wednesday, and he's day-to-day with a lower body injury. He took a shot by Los Angeles Kings defenseman Drew Doughty off his foot in the Tuesday's 5-1 win. He had 3 points in the game, so hopefully Marty St. Louis is okay. And that is it, folks. That is it for episode 75 of Hockey on the Spot. Thank you for joining me. This has been Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great day.